Hi everyone, welcome to DOdaily. It's Des here. Who's ready for some Monday motivation? Start of a brand new week, lots to be positive about, lots to look forward to. What I will just say before I get into the episode today is every so often I feel a bit unsure whether I'm doing the right thing, whether producing another episode of DOdaily is a little bit distasteful. Normally when there's difficult things going on around me, things that are upsetting to others, and today is one of those, to be honest. I'll come back to it a little bit later, but what I really want to talk about today is taking things into our stride, particularly negative situations, using the positives from them, turning things into a positive and moving forward the best way we possibly can, because that's so important, isn't it? Out of adversity sometimes we can find the inspiration, the motivation, the dedication to really push on, and that is definitely a case of that today. The day is quite significant to me, and like I say, I'll speak a little bit more about that later. Normally what I do is tell you about my weekend, but I'm going to get straight into letting you know what's available this week, because it all kind of ties in with what I've just said. So tomorrow we've got the solidarity session, of course an opportunity to get involved in virtual activity, knowing guys are out there taking part, just doing the things they love. And that's what we need right now, isn't it? To feel part of something. So whilst it's not the full-blown running group we'd normally hold through the Do Running City Slickers group, it's a chance, whatever your pace, whatever your ability, to get out there at 6:30, feel like you're part of a movement, I guess, an effort to stay on top of the situation. In terms of DOdaily, it's the real start of the activity we've got on offer, and lots of people have taken so much from it. So it's an open invitation to all. It's not exclusive to people who are within the group. And like I say, walking, running, cycling, even something at home. We've all got busy lives right now and time can be a bit of an issue. But what this does is give you an opportunity to find that little slot, plan it in even, and have a real go at trying to do something positive, trying to start the week, or at least near the start of the week. Give it a real go, get in the right, use it to all its benefits, as well as the activity, the chance to be part of a team effort, the chance to be accountable, the chance to plan and create something routine. We've spoke about the importance of that a lot. On Wednesday we've got the ongoing Wednesday workout challenge. Well, it's all about Wednesday workout, but we've got a challenge. I like to create those through the Wednesday workout group to try and do 10,000 steps a day for the 40 days of Lent. And whilst that's up and running, lots of the guys are doing so well. Again, it's absolutely open to all. If you want to get involved, check out the closed Do Running Facebook group. Join that, become part of the community. Again, it's there for absolutely anybody. The group, the activity, and like I said, the guys are doing absolutely fantastic, absolutely smashing out the steps. I think there's about 20 odd of them, and on the first day, between us, we managed 250,000 steps, which is pretty impressive, isn't it? So the overall total over the 40 days at that rate would be 10 million steps, and I'd imagine it's going to be even more than that by then, because people have really embraced it. They're enjoying it. Again, it's given them that purpose, given them that accountability, something to report back to. And like I spoke about a lot last week, when you commit yourself to something, it makes you so much more determined to see it through. With both of those, of course, I asked for your pictures of you taking part. Tag us in any of the links at the end of the video, just so we can use them to try and inspire and motivate others, to show them what we've got here, to show them that they can be part of it too. That it's a fully inclusive and accepts absolutely anybody, all shapes and sizes, all paces, abilities, every sort of discriminatory factor is not an issue here. Believe me, we want absolutely everyone to get involved. On Thursday, it's Thursday Thoughts, where I'll answer your questions live. Absolutely loving that right now. It's getting so many views, which is important. Getting lots of great questions. What I do is ask the viewers to comment on any of the social media posts, any of the videos, the previous ones, the ones going forward. Any questions you've got about activity, about motivation, about how to inspire yourself, how to sort of make it work for you, absolutely anything you want. I'm prepared to be open and honest. And in the last couple of weeks I've really had to be, I haven't had to be, but I want to be, and really, really honest, to the point of getting really out of my comfort zone in terms of what I'm letting on. But that's really important for me to do. Like I say, it's about being relatable as much as anything. And if people can look in and see that other people experience things in a similar way or a different way, but can use my experience, my thoughts, then that's absolutely brilliant. And like I say, that episode in particular, being live, is doing really well at the moment. So keep them questions coming in. Look out for that throwback question. Check out last Thursday's video. Again, some great feedback, so it's definitely worth a watch. On Friday, we wake up to walk. Really, really look forward to that. Even for Monday, whilst I'm not wishing time away, because that's the last thing we should be doing. We should be making the most of it rather than wishing it away. By the end of the week, it's nice to have that little break, those few days to sort of reflect on what's been said, what's happened, look forward to the weekend, plan things in. Again, it's always such an important part of what we do. Last week I was on the Grantham Canal walking back towards Nottingham. Absolutely amazing. The sun was coming up behind me. Made for a cracking video. Really, really pleased with myself with that as well. I always say that. I quite often come off one of these videos and go, oh God, Kay, I was struggling with that. But again, it was one of those, but really pleased with it when I watched it back. And it's not often I say that. I will say it because I'm getting more and more comfortable and confident, in praising myself. But it's not that often I say it. So when I feel it, that's absolutely fantastic. So again, it might be one worth checking out. But like I say, the Fridays are all about waking up to walk, getting out early, attacking the day. And believe me, on Friday I managed to get lots of steps in. So anyone doing that challenge or thinking about getting involved, it's a great opportunity as well. Once you've sort of hit that 10,000 target, you can almost sit back. Although I'm not encouraging that entirely, but you know what I mean. It's a chance to feel like you've achieved something. And one of my real beliefs through doing this is that we should really try to achieve something every single day. Whilst it might not always be possible, if we can at least try, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And then on Saturday, it's Saturday Selfie, where I ask you guys to go out and do some kind of activity, a bit like the Tuesday. Not exactly the same. You can go out any point during the day, post in your pictures. I'll share them across the story. I'll might add a theme to it if something comes up during the week, but if not, it's just a case of you getting out there, enjoying your activity, and then wanting to be part of what we do by posting those back in. And that's the plan. That's what we do every week. And whilst it's repetitive, it offers people that little bit of choice of how they get involved, what they do, when they do. So it's not that rigid in terms of making you do something. There's plenty of options of how you go about it, and that's important. But what it does do, like I said, I've touched on it a few times, it gives you that chance to plan things in, to look out for yourself. I always say we need to look out, motivate and inspire others, but it also gives us that opportunity to put ourselves first, because when we're in a great frame of mind ourselves, we're much more used to others. And that's really, really important, isn't it? And that's kind of a nice lead into what I'm going to say. I touched on at the start of the episode about not knowing sometimes whether producing DOdaily is the right thing to do. Today's been a bit of a sobering day, to be honest. 22nd of February 2015, one of my real inspirations passed away. And I'll come back to that story again, but somebody I really look up to, and somebody who's really shaped the way I go about things and think about things, and what sort of ultimately led me to make massive changes. But also this morning I attended a funeral. Fortunately, a couple of weeks ago, Kay's granddad passed away. It's been really sad, of course. It's difficult, and it really is. It was a nice service, plenty of nice words said, and it just got me thinking that, funerals, despite the fact there's sad occasions, I think all the upset, all the tears come out of the joy and the enjoyment of spending time with people we love, people we enjoy. I didn't know Kay's granddad personally. I wish I had, from everything that had been said. It was nice to hear some of the stories. I had met him once, but I didn't know him properly, and it was really nice to hear his story, hear what people thought of him and how much he really took things in his stride. There was so much about family and how much he laughed around people, and he was always positive. And I think there was a comment in there about him feeling like a millionaire, despite the fact he wasn't, because he had an amazing family around him and amazing people, and people he loved and people that loved him. So I think it's really important sort of from those situations, like I say, whilst I might feel a little bit guilty, am I being distasteful, I think it's important to remember that it's time to celebrate. As sad as it is, we're celebrating an amazing person, a wonderful chap by the sounds of it, who people really adored and looked up to. And of course, we're always talking about that, aren't we? Looking at inspirations. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was asking who's your all-time inspiration, through the throwback question. And just sort of on the funeral side of things, it was just important for me to kind of use it in such a positive way, to keep moving forward, to keep sort of sliding on. I found that quite difficult to listen to some of it. I was comforting Kay, of course that was my sort of main purpose of being there, and it just made me feel that it's so important to keep sort of moving forward. Of course, it brought back sort of memories for me, today in particular, of my uncle, who, like I say, passed away in 2015. And I want to talk about that really because he was somebody I really looked up to. He got me into football, which I've spoken about a lot. He got me into supporting Nottingham Forest, which I can only ever be eternally grateful for, despite all the pain and suffering we've had. That's the best thing anybody ever did for me. But what he also was a good footballer, played to a decent standard, and I always looked up to him for that. I wasn't as good. I was lucky enough to play in the same team as him once, but he could have played a lot higher than he did for certain reasons. He didn't, mainly through loyalty. He didn't, but he passed away when he was 51, which as everybody knows, that's far too young. But the real reason I sort of need to speak about it, need to sort of remember him, is because at the time I was 35, I was overweight. I was not making great choices. I was doing the wrong things, and whilst he would have said himself he was absolutely no angel, when he was 35, he was a good footballer. He was fit and well, and like I say, he wasn't perfect, but over the next sort of 15, 16 years, his health deteriorated. He was guilty of not seeing a doctor, didn't want to be a burden on anyone, and ultimately it cost him his life, and it was upsetting to us all. And I had to take from that I had to take a real long look at myself and think, if I carry on in this vein, am I going to end up really poorly, really ill? Am I ready for that? And it was hard. It was a hard lesson. I had to really dig in. And I always say on DOdaily, the reason I started making changes was only to lose weight, which led me on to one thing and another. But the reason I decided to lose weight at that point, I mean it, I tried it so many times before, was because I was so upset but so inspired by him to make that change. And again, out of that adversity, came a positive decision for me. And don't get me wrong, I wish it not have happened, but I know some of the things I've done, he'd have been really proud of course. Now, whilst he wasn't into his running, a lot of the things I've done through running and some of the achievements in completing events and things like that, he'd be really proud of. He was sporty minded, like I say, he was a good footballer. But to lose him so young, a guy who was funny and inspirational, really sort of everybody's best mate, really infectious, bubbly. It's important to sort of remember. I always say we have to remember why we do things. And if I really sort of go back right to the beginning, I don't talk about those kind of things every day, of course, because it's upsetting and I don't need to talk about it every day, but it was particularly poignant today, having been to the funeral as well, and I was just thinking, there's two guys there that people really looked up to, really made a difference within their lives. Whilst my uncle was quite young, Kay's granddad, he'd had 90 odd years, which is a pretty good effort. Again, that doesn't take away any of the pain, or suffering from the family today. But, in whichever ways they went about life, they was really sort of inspirational, infectious, loved the people around them, and people looked up to them. And when you do that, you can draw something off it, can't you? I've definitely drawn a lot from that. Even listening to, like I said, some of the comments today, taking some of it on board, hearing how it was, it definitely inspired me to be a better person, to want to be a person that helps. I think I do. But even more so, I want to help. I want to keep doing the things I do, keep taking things in my stride. And whilst I do, I've said it a few times, but whilst I do feel a little bit uneasy sometimes on the difficult days, this is the whole point, isn't it, of doing DOdaily? The whole point is to pass the message on when things aren't quite easy. There was a situation in the summer where my own mum was particularly poorly and the signs weren't good, but I had to sort of battle through. And I say all the time that if I can help one person, but during these situations, if it does help one person, it helps me. It helps me stay positive, it helps me retain some focus, and it reminds me of exactly why I do things. When you hear such positivity and how other people have taken things in the stride, both of those guys worked hard, provided for the family, loved the people around them, and made a difference, left a lasting legacy. And that was something that came up in the funeral service today. Something about legacy and the fact that we shouldn't be defined by the material things. That doesn't create legacy. What creates legacy is personality, individuals, people trying to make a difference, people trying to be the best possible version of they can. And of course, that's all I'm trying to be. I'm not perfect by any stretch. I've got my faults. I'm trying to iron them out bit by bit. But by doing all the things I do, by getting involved in all this activity, today, after all that, getting out for a walk, just clears the mind ahead of what I'm doing here. It allows me to think about it, allows me to process things. And that's so important, isn't it? And that's why I encourage activity. That's why I encourage getting involved. That's why I want everybody to be part of this amazing community and keep checking out what we do. Hopefully there was a nice message in there, guys. Hopefully it made sense. Of course it's a bit raw, it's a bit personal. It's a really significant time. But it's important, isn't it, to keep taking things in your stride. Even through the most difficult times, we can keep moving forward, keep taking one step at a time. And that's particularly relevant with the challenge I spoke about, but it's just a nice sort of link, isn't it, to the fact that, if we're moving forward, we're making progress. And if we're making progress, that's absolutely fantastic. You know, we're creating a better world for ourselves and everyone around us. And whilst I never want to get too sort of soppy and wishy-washy, you know, it's important to do that, isn't it? Right now, there's plenty to look forward to. You know, we've just had an announcement from the government on a roadmap on what we can and can't do. You know, but the biggest thing we can do, whatever dates they throw at us, whatever they say, whatever caution, the biggest thing we can do is keep being kind to ourselves, keep doing the things we're allowed to do. It's within the regulations, and just keep at it. You know, face the week with positivity. Believe me, attending a funeral, watching people suffering the way they did early on a Monday morning doesn't feel like the best start, but it's a perfect reminder that we can still make the most of it. You know, enjoy what happened. You know, remember why we enjoy it, remember what we take from it, and really move forward. So if you can, guys, you know, use what's available here. Keep checking out the videos. Please like, share and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. You know, try to be honest, and I think today has been another real example of that. So if you can keep checking out the videos, you know, that would be absolutely fantastic. If you can get involved, that would be absolutely fantastic. If you don't and just want to sort of keep watching but not get involved, or get involved and not watch the videos, that's great too, because it's whatever works for you. The plan I mentioned at the start of the episode is there to use for your benefit. So if you can, guys, there's a lot of thought put into it to try and help people through these most difficult situations. So until tomorrow and the Tuesday training, like I say, today's been a little bit sobering, a little bit of a thoughtful one, but you know, it doesn't mean it has to be negative. There's lots of nice memories to take forward, and of course without those, you know, there wouldn't be much point. We all earn the right to have nice thoughts and a nice life going forward. So keep taking it in your stride, whatever's thrown at you. If you're feeling it today, just get out there for a walk. I mentioned we've got lots of things to look forward to, even without DOdaily. You know, the nights are getting lighter. You know, it's getting warmer. You know, and of course the situation with coronavirus might just be showing some light at the end of the tunnel. So it's a case of keep moving forward, guys. Keep going on. Keep on. And until tomorrow, just doing it. Be ready at 6:30.